Okay. Yeah.
And we're live.
Yes.
All right, let's get it started. Let's start with a little theme music for 2024. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. It's 2024. So many great things in store this year. It's every year, you know. Let's take a look, but let's listen first. Not enough on the space age, and not too much on what's up, what's new, yeah, what's real, and what's true. It's a lot of people that we going through. One day we all gotta face the truth. What's up, what's new, what's real, and what's true. It's a lot of people coming up to conclusions that we all going through. Heard a planet's full of diamonds, things way where no one can find them. We just aliens on a spaceship, find our way about it. Is it honor your spirit or riches or wealth? Find the best way to get rid of yourself. Life is a wonder worth living itself. Now it don't need your help. Your river is wealth. Know that water is health. Long as you know thyself, your soul is gold. Alchemy mysteries unfold. African stories untold. Just know your role. This ain't just what I've been sold. The power that you behold. It's time you know. Yeah, your spirit do glow. It's part of the ultimate flow. What's up? What's new? What's real? And what's true? It's a lot of people that we going through. One day we all gotta face the truth. What's up? What's new? What's real? And what's true? It's a lot of people coming up to conclusions that we all going through.
What's up? What's new? What's true? What's real? Too many fake, not enough real. Too many violence, not enough chill. Too many go petty, not enough grill. Why do the months come with the 5 bills? Too many dreams, not enough vision. You over there, what is your mission? And the bottom, I gotta come up in this crazy world. Who can you trust? I know shit hard, but don't give up. Put a smile on your face and then cheer up. Found myself in all these dark places. My own demands, I have to face. The God in me, I have to embrace. Within myself, I have to replace. If knowledge is power, then why do they know? Then if it is, I am the flow. Water me good like the palm tree I grow. Dropping these thoughts got you grieving some more. Not living without, I'm living within. I follow my heart, but never the spend. Follow the knowledge, but never the men. They never told us that God is within. The greatest discovery that never been told. Follow the rabbit, you'll enjoy the whole. Go get the money, but don't sell your soul. Nah, don't sell your soul.
What's up? What's new? What's real? And what's true? It's a lot of people that we going through. One day we all gotta face the truth. What's up? What's new? What's real? And what's true? It's a lot of people coming up to conclusions that we all going through. All right. Let's get it.
Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen.
So today, y'all, we got a few things we're gonna be talking about.
Yes.
Whole bunch of things. Oh, sorry. Let's rewind that. But yes, let's go ahead and dive on into it, man, because it's a new year, new things. We have not done our live in a few weeks, so let's see what's been popping, y'all. It's been a lot of stuff going on. I know that we've had some comedians in the news, rather trending. We've had a lot of seismic activity, natural activity. Nature just been doing its thing out here, y'all. We've also had uh, a lot of alien disclosure at the end of 2023. Well, 2023 in general, but there's been a lot of things unfolding, and I think the main thing that we're going to be looking at is going to probably be all of it collectively because
Yes.
there's movie themes that have been coming out that are tied to a lot of what people may say projective programming. Who knows what it is, but there's a lot of things that have already happened, and I'm not sure if things are happening faster than can be projected along some of these lines. But let's start with 2024, the year 2024, and we all know that numerologically speaking, 2024 equates to the number eight.
Yes.
So what does the number eight have in store for us? Because number eight is a very balanced number, top to bottom, or side to side, if we're looking at it infinitely.
Yes.
So it offers a lot of things as far as expansion and prosperity and bringing things into fruition and manifestation. Um, it's always a time to bring things into fruition, but there's a season, is the thing. So you work on things. You as it is in the Bible, you reap and you sow. So there's a time to work on it, then there's a time to pick it in and enjoy it. So and see the blooms and fruits of the labor. But now is definitely that time to be in expansion mode, be in connectivity mode. You know what I mean? Now is the time to connect to people, places, things that may have been on your mind. You wanted to go here or look at that or research this or get into that hobby. Now is the time to do those things. Be more curious, be more inquisitive, looking into things that you enjoy as a being, spiritual enjoyment. Not, I'm just saying, this brings you financial gain, because of course you'll be happy with financial gain, but financial gain is only half of the game. So it's spiritual fulfillment is what you're looking for. What brings a smile to your face? What makes you happy? Even if there was no financial gain, purposeful things. So when we're talking about the number eight, those are the things that we're talking about. We're talking about uh, those things. So bringing balance and understanding and leveling of thought, or stabilizing, grounding rather, not a leveling, but a leveling of sorts of circulation and cycles, but a grounding of sorts into your current space and time, and beginning to root so that you can grow those necessary parts of that tree that you're trying to, or flower necessarily that you're trying to plant, that you're trying to blossom and bloom and grow into. So now is the time where those roots are popping up. It's not quite a flower yet, it's not time to do those things, but or maybe it is, maybe you're in that stage of the cycle. But for a lot of people right now, is even if you are in that stage of the cycle where you already have blooms and blossoms and things of that nature, it's still time to root and ground and move into a new stable state of mind and state of place, so that a lot of your fruit that falls or you give can take hold. Okay, that's primary.
Yes. Welcome again to 2024. Like we said, we didn't have a live early. You know what I mean? We didn't have a live early during the year, but we're here now. And yes, we're in the year 2024, which equals, like my wife already says, to eight, the number eight. You know what I mean? Even myself, I know my life number is also the number eight, which is, bringing a lot of prosperity and, growth. You know what I mean? The people who is the money people, like they say, they also, their life number is eight as well. So we're in the new year. It's a new season, you know what I mean? 2023 already gone. So we cannot dwell on the past no more. So we gotta take things to the new year and work on the things that, we need to work on. Water our plants. When I say plants, it could be physical plants, but it could be also your thoughts, you know, your vision, your dreams, you know, whatever you have planned, you know what I mean? It could be business, business plan, trying to buy a new home, uh, you know what I mean? new family, get married, all these things. So the year bring all these things, bring a lot of balance out as well. So, and it's we also in the, you know, closer to the years of information, So we here. So a lot of things done unfold, Like we already seen in here, a lot of things been unfolding since the year
Mm-hmm.
2020,
Oh
basically.
man. Yeah.
So
Ooh, trickle down, huh?
yes, and I believe more things, lot more things will be coming out, and a lot more knowledge, a lot more people will be woke. Those who are asleep, it's time to wake up. It's time to get out the coma, at that sleep stage you're at right now, because we're in a new phase. We seen a lot of things that's going on. Like I said, we seen movies coming out. We see people exposing people.
Ooh, Lord. A lot of that, huh?
So yeah, that's the year. Like the year of information, the year of truth, knowledge. Or balance. Unfoldment.
Unfolding out here, it's a lot. It's a lot. And as the number 8, as we look at it symbolically, and we see that, again, top to bottom, bottom to top, or side to side, there are two loops that we find, which create balance and stability, because it's not it's fulfilled on each side. So it's not unbalanced, you know what I mean? It's not lacking on either side. There's symmetry there. It's symmetrical. So it creates a balance naturally. It's interesting, because when we do look at those things and we think of polarity, let's say, a balance there that creates charge, then we understand that in this year also, um, it is a year of spiritual growth and spiritual prosperity and spiritual abundance and gifts and uh, goldenness per se. However, we know there's a polarity to everything, right? There's cycles within cycles within cycles. So there may be a cycle that's moving right, and then one within it that's moving left. And so, to say from the macrocosm to the microcosm, uh, being that this is a more abundant spiritual year for a lot of people, or for most of us, that are aligned and in alignment rather with your spiritual path, or who you are and what it is you need to be doing here at this time and purpose, uh, at this time and place for your purpose, rather. You find that it may be a lot of things. We find that the media is projecting a lot of things. We find that there's just a lot of movies, a lot of narratives, whether it be on social media, whether it be on the news outlets, or whether it be just in our general entertainment, in movies, in life. So it's a lot of themes are playing out on a major scheme, or on a major scale. I'm sorry. Maybe it is a scheme, but on a major scale, a lot of things are just playing out, and we're seeing it play out before our eyes. And some has been discussed or talked about, or even just chitter chattered, in the background. But a lot of it is beginning to be, projected in a lot of different major ways. So um, let's start there. Let's start there. Let's start there. Let's start there. A lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. So again, looking at the number 8, let's say this is a spiritually abundant year for everybody. And then we know that may be that there may be some kind of physical alteration. There may be some faltering on the physical side of things or spectrum, because as moving into a more balanced place within yourself, or within a balanced state within the collective, even more appropriately, what we find is that when people are exposed to more knowledge, or people are exposed to a different way of thinking, especially one that they may not have thought of themselves, but knew that something was missing or something was off, and just didn't have enough information,
or didn't have enough understanding or understanding rather to search on their own and trust their own intuition to be able to validate some of the information that they may be coming across or may be exposed to. That may have been one thing that could have ultimately, of course, led people to not delve deeper. But looking at these things, we do understand that now is the time that a lot of things are playing themselves out. So watching that flip, polarity flip, let's say, even whether it's naturally or whether there are, things happening that may be controlled to a certain perspective. There may be things that, are being weaponized, rather, let's say. Um, we know there are military strategies and things on all sides, whether it be from a physical perspective, or if there's mental warfare, sonic warfare, if there is, or what they mental be and psychological warfare is what they call it, is the technical term or the appropriate term rather.
Yes.
But there are a lot of things that are going on. So if we're looking at it from that perspective, then we have to understand that yes, there will be a lot of spiritual growth because there will be a lot of things that may challenge you. In a sense, we know that inflation has been going up and up and up since the C-19 hit. You know what I mean? Back in 2020. So there's been a lot of things. There's just there have been a lot of things that are now coming into connection when we start looking at some of the movies and other things that are being projected out there. So looking at the 2020 and things have been rising since then, and I don't know if people are just starting to realize that things had been rising, but things have been slowly trickling up since then. I mean, they've always been trickling up. That's the gist of the capitalistic system that we're in. But for the most part, there's been a larger exponential piece of trickling that's been trickling since a lot of stuff kicked off with 2020, and having 2020 vision. They say it's hindsight, but I mean, looking back and less looking forward, or I'm sorry, 2020 vision. They do say 2020 vision is hindsight, but having 2020 vision, you should be looking towards the future. So let's get into a little bit of the future, and kind of. And again, this is, I feel like it's been so much doom and gloom. Like there's not a lot of doom and gloom within personal growth. Like, there's nothing that can stop us within personal growth. So it's always good to look at it in that aspect because that's what helps us grow into what it is we need to become. That's what helps us be the people or beings that we need to be here in this place and space for a particular time, to keep, Earth and the universe, in its galactic space. Each of us need to be playing our particular role, let's say, if that's the case, in this part of time, so that everything goes as planned. Because there are a lot of people that may have plans against what, nature or natural pathways have planned. But again, we know nothing can override nature. Nothing can override, what's destined to happen. Destiny is a word for a reason, and willpower is a word for a reason also, or as well. But in that same essence, nature, universe, God, source shall always prevail.
Yes.
And in the sense that keeps it alive. Not in the sense that destruction won't come or things won't be challenging, but in the sense that, self-destruction is not the ultimate goal of living. That's counterproductive to life. So, just again, in balance, if we're talking about balance in things in life, yeah, there may be internal struggles and there may be some things, but we're going to see a lot of growth, and we're going to see a lot of great things and challenges overcome, and a lot of pure innovation, pure intention, pure intuition. People really having to exercise that inner voice, that inside, because there are going to be a lot of things that may challenge what you see and what you think. You know, what your logical mind may want to say, wow, but this just happened and they're saying this, but your logical, or your let's say your spirit is telling you, your intuition is like, nah. You know what I mean? So it's like just paying attention to a lot of things that are going on, again, from outside to inside, macrocosm to microcosm, um, things that may be going on. So if things begin to trickle down, let's again say back in 2020, or even let's speed it up to last year in 2023, we know that there were a lot of financial struggles in California with a particular Silicon Valley bank. So right around the same time, and we know things are cyclical, March, April, May, you know, we know things are cyclical. So if there's only a particular, it's like a domino effect. If it's a matter of time before something hits you, unless you put the blaze out, or there's some other way to evade some kind of cataclysm, then again, it's only, if you're tied to that same rope, it's only a matter of time before, you catch on fire also. So looking at the scheme of things in the world, and being that Silicon Valley is just a prominent place in America, very prominent, one of the top banks in America, out of top, let's say 20, it's one of the top 20 banks in America, um, holds a lot of wealth. And for them to take a lot of people that were invested in that bank, take all of their money and be like, no, something's going on. What do they know that a lot of other people don't know? Um, it's interesting. It's very interesting. It's interesting. That's what we can say. It's interesting, but just observing things, just being a natural observer, there are things that are happening, because around that same time, around the Silicon Valley time, Texas and a few other states started to declare that they may separate from the United States and become their own unions, or quote unquote countries per se. So it's these ideas that have already been projected or played out or thought about per se from people that are in these places of power that would have these perspectives. And now we're beginning to see movies like, okay, there's a movie that we saw a trailer not too long ago about a civil war, and that it's going to be coming out. So screenshot. So if indeed this movie is coming out, and the gist of the movie is, some kind of, it talks about something along the lines of Texas and some other states separating, and some other climatic things, it goes along the lines of what has already been kind of seeded with the 2020, or even prior to that, the 2020 or 2016, elections and things of that nature. So we've seen a great division in the country here, personally, of course, and we can't speak for everybody. But I know here in the South, as we often speak for, because that's the only only perspective I can speak for, other unless I'm traveling, but just locally, and knowing, being based from the South, in the South always, is just that there are deep divisions that have come about. Some more emotionally deep. You're not seeing them. You haven't seen them. You've seen displays, open displays. You've seen ignorance, but you haven't seen downright, well, we have seen downright disrespect, but you haven't seen downright just the violence in we've seen violence too, but I would say on a daily basis. Let's not time traveling back, but are we saying like modern day? We haven't seen that in a local vicinity in a large scale. We hear about it on the radio, we see it on, the YouTube or whatever, platform we may be viewing, the next, horrible event that happened. But it's like it's one thing to see it and be exposed to it, and then it's a different thing to be living it every day and be seeing people all around. And here in the South, that's a very real reality. That's a possibility. I'm sorry. Let's not even put that into reality. Let's speak that into existence, because I believe that's not going to happen the way they want it to happen. Thank goodness. But it's just, that's a real reality that people have already gone through. And speaking for the future, that's something that I don't think we see happening again. Like, it's to a degree though, with these political affiliations and the military industrial complexes and things of that nature. Like, of course, there have been things that have tried to rile up certain emotions in people, and it's been effective. I can't say that it hasn't. I can't say that it hasn't worked. We look at Politico, and not that it's something to be studied or even discussed to bring attention to, but it is something to observe, again, with some of the laws that have been tried to be presented or have been passed, actually, at this point. When we made this video around this time last year about this woke act that will be releasing real soon, y'all stay tuned for that. Dr. Rick Stevenson coming up soon. But just a little preview on that. Stay tuned for that. There are a lot of things that were not relevant at a time, but now are relevant again, because now we're coming through the judiciary system. Now we're passing legislation. Like, it's things being done again, not on an activism level. Nobody went out and protested. I mean, some people did, in different areas, but I mean, like, nobody went out on the opposite side and protested and said, we want this in our books. We want to change those laws. Those were lawmakers that changed those laws. And then there were people that came out against it, like, nah, and protested. But, as far as somebody saying, we want this, that's what we want to change the history books. That was, personal acclamation. That was something that, someone, or for whatever reasons people do the things they do, that was something they wanted to do. If that was, a personal heritage line, or if that was something, that was along and a more agendic line, who knows? But well, we know, but we can surmise. At least we don't know, because we're not in that place, but we know what it looks like.
Yes.
And it just, regardless, it's not a good situation either or to change history so that people forget what happened, and the safeguard of not history repeating itself. So there's a lot of things going on right now.
A lot of stuff.
It is. It's a lot of things going on right now. And I know it's been a lot of things festering. So even circling around to some of the movies, back to the Civil War movie, there's a lot of decisiveness that has come up, between people, even not associated with political. It's aroused a feeling of emotion in people, that of hatred and dislike and disgruntledness and unhappiness. And
yes.
People have to express that on some platform, especially if they're not doing it constructively, if they're not running or working out or meditating, if they're not able to off that emotional energy in some kind of way, it expresses itself, unfortunately, more times than not, in a negative, aggressive form. And a lot of times, again, here we're dealing with learned behavior, taught behavior. This is something people pass down to keep alive on purpose. So, which again, they're still doing, passing legislation and doing other things to keep certain ideals and understandings alive. So it's becoming of us all to make sure that, of course, in your personal household, you're taking care of what you need to take care of, to teach whoever it is that you have in your home, that they understand, things, history, what's the climate of today, of yesterday, of the future, of your hopes, your dreams, of all of that. None of that is dismissive, but to really keep a base on where we are and where we're not coming back to. That's a big part of that. Like, because you seeing that in the Lead the World Behind stuff too. Like,
yeah, and it's just in a way too, just for people to understand, like, where they at. You know what I mean? That the land that they at is not fully as free as people say, as they said in the Constitution or whatever. Or it's just that like how divided that the country really are. You know what I mean? Like far as you know what I mean, like how things stand, where things stand. You know what I'm saying? And I think the Civil War movie that's coming out gonna really show like people like really like you know what I mean what's really going on like in America, like to be honest, you know what I mean?
I hope so.
Because the whole thing is like we're living in a country where every state is different.
But it may just be entertainment. We'll see.
Yeah, every state is different and have their laws, right? And say if everybody say they're going uh remove themselves from the government, you know what I mean? Who say they can't?
Nobody.
Because each state is a little country by themselves. You know what I mean? And they can pull out.
Each person is a little country by themselves. And if everybody was to come together and say that, there would be no country. You know what I mean? Like there would be no, the legislation that they try to pass would not be relevant.
And plus too, you know, like it's the United States. What if the state say they not don't want to unite it no more? They want to divide. You know what I mean? So and that's where Texas and them countries they stand. You know what I mean? They don't want to be part of the United States of America no more. You know what I mean?
The establishment.
Establishment. You know what I mean? Because it's a political establishment, and they know a lot of people who run those.
Texas love politics too.
Anyways,
they just,
yeah, they
man, it's this old wars, and this is why I believe that movie is going to be real relevant because I'm interested to see what it has. I hope it's more than just Hollywood entertainment. I hope it's some real jewels in there, you know, for people to pick at because it's this is a very, very old war, very old, and it's a Cold War. It has been a Cold War. People, it's this Civil War is between everybody. Like that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. It's between everyone, every place. I mean, they have people warring with themselves in this country. Like there are a lot of things that are going on here, like that we have to be. You know, you can't conflict with yourself. And when you're in that state, then of course you're going to be angry with everyone else. If you can't love self, there's no way you can love or have love for anyone else. So being that this is such an age-old conflict, and there's so many aspects to look at it from, there's so many pieces to this puzzle. Like we got gender wars right now. You know what I mean? It used to be racial wars. That was the old thing, race wars. You know, that's old news now. Yeah. Now you got gender wars. Then you got real wars. You know what I mean? Like there are so many things, so many like, and those are just surface level things. But there are so many religious wars, you know, age-old wars. Like these are things that psychological wars. We as people, health wars, you know. We didn't even know we were going through. We didn't realize that the food that we were eating was not best fit for us. A lot of people didn't know that. Now we do, and knowledge is power. So, you know, it's just, there's so many things going on. So many things to be aware of, you know, not to fight against. There's so many wars going on, but you don't always have to be a warrior. You can stand. You know what I mean? Stand firm and stand on that. But there's a time to fight. There's a time to be a warrior. But there's also a time to sit and observe and prepare.
Yes.
Because you can't prepare while you're fighting. You can't even see the field per se. You just see what's in front of you because that's the immediate threat. So to see what's really going on, you know, relax, chill, sit back, don't go to sleep. You know what I mean? But just relax, take in a few things. And, you know, some things become a little clearer, but yeah, it's a lot of things going on. And there was a piece in the leave the world behind, where old boy said, the easiest way to pretty much destroy a country is let it destroy itself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's old psychology. You know what I mean? What I mean, isn't that what's going on in the industry right now? If we're gonna tie it back to, like what's really relevant, like they're saying, the easiest way for a person to be destroyed is to really, give them the drugs, and this how the celebs per se, quote unquote, the people that are paid a lot for us to watch them,
Yeah.
and keep our attention. This is how they destroy themselves. They give them the tools to destroy themselves. They give them access to destroy themselves.
Yeah.
So, they don't have to do it a lot of times. A lot of times, they just cause the internal turmoil. They give them a reason. And then people tear themselves down, not taking their power back or realizing their power that was never stripped. I mean, that's another question. People have been talking about, can a soul really be taken? Can a soul really be sold? I mean, that's a deep subject. Can a soul really be sold?
I don't think your soul can be sold, but your body can.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, what is a soul?
Your soul is like your spirit.
Okay, in ethereal sense, so it's the tie to God, source.
Yeah, because I don't think you can see your soul. Can you see your soul?
Sure.
I mean,
Can
you
maybe not in an individualistic sense, but like maybe in a multidimensional sense. Like you might not see it as like a person, place, a thing, but it might be like a whole
tie?
Yeah, I mean, it might be a whole experience.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
it could be a
it might.
tie, but in the literal sense, your soul cannot be sold. You know what I mean? But whatever you do with your body, for whatever they buying, they could say in the industry, right? They say these people they sold their souls, right? For the money or for fame. Majority of the time that you heard they selling their body, you know what I mean? They had to sleep with men, or women had to sleep with women, or women had to sleep with men for their roles.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Men sleep with men,
With
women
men
sleep
for
with women.
for their
That's
roles.
a whole bunch of, or
So
everybody sleep with everybody.
Everybody, you know what I mean? So
Be a whole
it's a
orgy
body,
out there.
it's a body selling. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like I get you, babe. That's the surface level, but on a deeper level, I mean, that's a good. I mean, I get like when they say you sell your soul. I get that, and I do believe that you can. Time is infinite, though. Time is just a thing that's here. Like we move through time, like we move through space. Like it's it's not local. It's not something per se that we are. What we seeing is what we're able to see. You know what I mean? Like, of course, we look at ultraviolet. When we look at there's ultraviolet. There's other negative green. There are other colors and things. X-rays that are evident because we can see. We can see the bones when they do an X-ray, but we can't necessarily see the X-rays that go through a person to see them. Our eyes don't see that part. So there's a lot happening that we don't necessarily see, but it's there. It's happening. So I but forever, like, that just forever, ever, forever, ever, like that just
that's mean it's
I
like
mean, you
every
may be
time you
able to
come
do
back.
a bit, like, you know what I mean? But it's like forever. Like, does that mean destruction then? Because we have
Yeah, it is destruction,
if
self-destruction.
like, I mean, people like to, again, people like to separate devil and God, and God, all encompassing, omniscient, omnipotent, allows, right, the devil. So
The thing is, those things always gonna be there, right? Especially why do they say somebody sold their soul or whatever sin? It's because you're not working in accordance with nature, basically. You know what I mean? Or
You creating karma,
yeah,
bad karma. I mean, you could create good karma too. So you know what I mean, what you creating bad karma,
I guess bad karma, and maybe the whole soul thing, selling soul
dharma,
thing, or for eternity thing is maybe the
mugging
memories
your
that goes with the after you done whatever you done. Maybe it's all the memories, whatever how you feel about yourself then. You know what I mean? Because I don't understand how
that's
the whole selling the soul is.
it's interesting you just said that though, because that's an interesting thought. Memories, 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 memories. That's what this whole thing is really about. If you think about it, that's the currency. Like, think about that. Because I was thinking about this earlier. Like, there are a lot of things. They have the movie, what is it you used to watch? Or we used to watch, and then I fell off the series, Ultra Carbon.
Called to carbon.
Okay, the stacks and this, that,
Yeah.
and the other. You know, yeah, it's lifetimes, da 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 da. But really, what you reloading for if you could just live a whole nother life? This the memories, right?
Memories. Yeah.
So it's it's interesting because even with like music, you switch phones, cameras. It's like you have things on those phones. Just a minute ago, I didn't think I had access to my mid journey pictures, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a new phone. How do I, wait a minute, hold up, what's going on? Like these memories. You go back through your phone, you can look at from 2012 or whenever you know what I mean. And it's like, or even on certain platforms, you can go back and look. Oh, I was younger then. I was this. I was that. I was doing this. I was on that. I was going through this. Like you can chart your life. Those are your memories.
Yes.
It can bring you back to a space, or it can make you never go back to a space. You know what I mean? Like it's the memories. And that's what they pretty much charging people for. Because if space was limitless, you have access to all the memories from when you were, whenever everything came online or has come online. Because this is far in, it's planned out. This is not like the internet just popped up yesterday and everything is now we're all on it and oh, internet. No, like rediscovery. Like we got to get refamiliar with things like that because of course they've painted things in a way that everything is new and this is now and this is how we've done it and we've created this, and it's nothing more than just redoing. Even colonialism is a redo. That was not, you know I mean, I'll say I'll give you that. Maybe that was for doing how you do it and what you do it and the way you do it. Maybe that was your type of colonialism, but the idea of colonialism, of going and conquering a place, and I don't know, maybe teaching them your ways, I think is one thing, but forcing them to be you is something else. I think people have always given exposure, like this is what we do, and if you want to do it, like cool. But I'm not sure that people went to, that's like the Moors with the bathing. I'm not sure people went to Rome and was like, y'all gotta bathe, like it's just like, hey, this is how we do it. People's like, oh, we like that, let's do that too. Versus coming to a place and being like, yeah, we gonna, y'all should do this, suggestively,
Cool.
versus forcibly, like not should, now matter of fact, y'all gonna do this.
Yeah, those conquerors, that's what they does. You know what I mean? At the age, at the time, if you look at the world how it is, look at America, the continent, not just the country, the continent. Look at the language that we speak here. We speak English, Spanish, Portuguese, and French in America, in the continent, right? Who's those language? Where they came from? Europe. You know what I mean? So once Europe come start ruling,
Parts, I
yeah,
mean,
I mean you
Latin
have
rooted, but yeah.
Europe. So Portugal is in Europe, Spain, Europe, you know what I mean? France, Europe, England, Europe, and that's what we speak here. We don't speak much Italian, unless you probably in New York somewhere, you know what I mean?
So what that tells you is people long ago realized that to conquer a language to conquer a people.
Gotta change the language.
There you go. And to rule, if you're conquering, you're ruling, right? To rule, your language need to be the language of commerce.
Commerce. Yeah, because
Be the
it's a
language
whole
of
system.
business.
It's a whole system.
Yes.
It's a whole corporation system,
Right.
a commerce system, like you said. I mean, it's a commerce, especially English.
It's the
English
language
is
of business. I mean, even if America fell, like this the language of business worldwide. Like what? Everybody gonna start speaking Chinese tomorrow? Not. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's the language of they set that up. This is a someone understood.
Yeah, strategically.
Far beyond, yesterday or even 1,000 years ago. Like, it's just this is not a new concept.
English
People understand language
English is the trade route.
Language is a programmer. Whatever language you speak programs your ideas, the way you think, how you think, what you think is possible.
Because even English, like, was created by the Africans. You know what I mean, and more so the Phoenicians. And these niggas was commerce. You know what I mean? That's why England, because they rule England. You know what I mean? When the Phoenician moved to go to Europe, there was commerce. They traveled like to the sea because they see people mostly. They stay in the sea mostly because they commerce. They have to travel land boats, to go to India, all these places, left Africa somewhere, go to Middle East, whatever, to go to these places, and then they end up, married a lot of bloodline England. I mean, married into the bloodline England, have their own people there. Generation, whatever English, then the English language become like, this language, after, years of conquering, what I mean? And they set that up because we live
I mean, in our English, American English is a subset of British English.
British English.
So, again, think of these dynasties and how long they have been in power.
And especially we using
were in power rather.
we using the currency. You know what I mean? The maritime law. You know what I mean? So English was created based on maritime law for commerce. So English been a trade for commerce for a long time, even when before it become, American English, become a subsidy of it.
You had to be a heck of a businessman to be like, yeah, or just a person in general to say a strategist, a genius, a forethinker, innovative, to think prior to the system. I mean, and again, this is why I say this ain't no new thought. And it may be thoughts built upon thoughts, again, cycles within cycles, or maybe somebody just tapped into, every cycle from infinity and beyond and was like, this is what we got to do, but old lineage, it's things that have survived. Earth is still here, from the time that it began, right? This ain't no new Earth per se. At least not that I'm aware of, unless we living on some kind of parallel universe. But this is the Earth that was here since its inception. So there have been things and people and civilizations have risen and fallen, and Earth has gone through its natural cycles. And that's another thing, like speaking of some of these movies, like the Leave the World Behind thing, like going back to the Civil War thing, there was just Leave the World Behind was a weird movie. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not a fan of weird movies, but it was an all right movie. It was decent. I think it had a lot of good. Well, I don't know if good would be the the word I should use, but it had a lot of awareness in it. Things that you might need to be aware of, as far as just being the cyber attacks and just different things as far as misinformation. Like there were a lot of things in that movie that may have given things that have already gone on, to be honest. And again, this is why I say, like, there are some things that have been being projected. I don't know if they behind the timeline or whatever they've been working with. I'm not sure how long. Again, we know we only get information years after it's already been utilized and manipulated and known how to be governed over.
Yeah.
So this AI, people have been utilizing that, I can imagine, for quite some time. um I would say or speculate, at least, well, let me not speculate, but it's been some time. It's not a new, it didn't just happen yesterday. And if the internet, or per se, the yeah, let me just go with the internet. Let me not get too complex. Let's say the internet. The internet has been in existence since Egyptian times, but more commonly uh, it tapped into in the 1900s, early 1900s. Then we have to understand that there's a lot of information, and AI, if you could tap into the internet, surely should have been tapped into quite before. You know what I mean? Like, what we're just getting exposed to now, like, it's, you ever seen, there's a lot of gems too in a lot of these kids movies, and they talk about the Oracle. And in a sense, I kind of relate AI to the Oracle, because of course they've said different things in relation to, and actually, the Matrix has the Oracle too, the black woman.
Yeah.
But in the movie that I'm talking about, there was like this golden hand of Midas, and the Oracle. It's just this whole idea of tapping into a sublime understanding, right? That is not God, but perceived as an all-knowing entity. Or I won't even say, I guess it would be an entity, because everything has, some sort of animation to it. But it's this whole thing. So if it's not just us moving into, it's a complex situation. It's just a lot. It's a lot to pay attention to, man. We just got to pay attention to what's going on. It's a lot in these movies that they're unpacking, and looking at this underlying civil war, this underlying, we already know in America there has been a civil war. This one just hearsay that's happened. So of course, is this reinforcement, reprogramming? Sure, maybe not. I don't know. Entertainment, who knows? But um, we know that also, the movie was just, it was just weird from the beginning. Just, not very cohesive, but pieces here and there pretty scattered, and then just a lot of imagery and emotional standing, emotionally charged information, or it wasn't even information, just emotionally charged events were happening, like them showing up at the house, and them speculating. It was a moment in there that I didn't know if it was their house or not either. Like, it didn't, if it's your house, tote it like it's your house. Not that you need to have pictures there, but it's like, yo, excuse me, yeah, you got the keys and you being respectful, I get it, but just some of the things, it's like, I'm not sure about. Like, it was just some things that just seemed a bit interesting. So nonetheless, it was still a pretty decent movie. It was an a movie with awareness, I'll say, awaring.
Yeah, and
It's a movie with a lot of awareness in it to pay attention to.
what I get from this movie too is like, don't depend nothing into the system or the
I
government.
mean, I feel like
Be
people hear
self-dependent.
preparers, doomsday preppers, and preparers. Y'all, I be mixing words. But yes, doomsday preparers and doomsday preppers. That's been a thing. You know,
Yeah, but it
I think
just
it's
not
becoming more
just
prevalent now, more
not
pressing.
just about, what I mean, say
Food,
that
water.
food, yeah, you gotta have at least, you can get your own food without, what I mean.
What about these bunkers? Because they have
So,
bunkers in that bad boy.
and
People was hiding like,
sometimes, yeah, and protect yourself as well. And then
I don't care if I have lights or not. I still can leave. You know what I mean? Whether I have electricity or not. Like most thing
What they say
people,
about that life. I done
well,
been there.
yeah,
That ain't nothing.
people here in the country, the most
I
thing they
mean, you
worried
think
about
people would? I
is
think people would be
electricity. You
real
know?
scared and awakened to understand that you gonna still live without
Yeah.
lights, without
TV is the most
even
important thing they worried about. I'll
money.
tell you
I
that.
think money will be the biggest
Yeah.
one people would be surprised about. You can't
You
eat
know,
money.
so
You can't like when it come down to it. Like if things do get real, bro, what do you what do you know? Like what are you doing? Like what are you providing? Because that's really the only way you're rebuilding any kind of civilization or even surviving out here. It's how are you manipulating or maneuvering the resources that you have? Are you squandering them? Are you using them wisely? Are you sharing them? Are you multiplying them through sharing? Or what's the game plan? Because you just hit on something for real. Like it's a lot of stuff that may be present. And I feel like it may be more present in some areas because we think about everything again as the collective in the United States or worldwide. Really, it's the mind collective. But at least in the local area that we're dealing with, like we've seen people lose clean water in Michigan.
yeah.
Like that's not too far off.
Mhm.
That's just up the ley line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how do you decipher, So it's not really even trying to decipher, it's more so just being prepared for whatever, know something,
Hmm.
do something, and know how to jump into action and know that, if or when things may happen, that you have your base source in line, like you're not just out here starving or looking around and can't find water and there are things that you're demising on because normal people can't live like that. Now again, if you're on medication, you're in the hospital, that
I
it's
could
gonna be
understand.
tough.
Yeah.
A lot of people may lose some things because these are things that have become life supporting. But for just everyday life and living, hey, you better go out there and get some of them greens, some of those, you know what I mean? Like whatever you got in the yard, it's gonna be soup for some time, but you'll make it. You know what I mean? Like
For another day.
you'll make it. Like go out there, come on. Like what are we? This is not, yo. So I mean, it's people living in other countries doing this every day. No doctors, no hospitals. They're here. It's not rocket science, y'all. It's just being aware, because I think more people die from shock and devastation that things have changed, and it wasn't it wasn't the way they perceived it to be. It wasn't the truth. They was lied to. People die from that. More so than anything. It's heartbreak. They say heartbreak registers just as much as a broken arm does. Interesting that the brain would register heartbreak just as the same caliber as a broken arm. Interesting. So our perception and how we live in it, what we seeing, and just these undertones of things like tension. And again, I'm not even sure why it had to be black and white tension in that movie. Like it was just and Leave the World Behind. It was like, why? Where'd this come from? Like what I mean? Like they could have made them people any color, but like okay, so now we gotta look at this also, which is not something that we necessarily needed to be reminded that we need to look at. We understand, we know where we at. Like business is business, right? If you invent something, or you feel like you invented something, or you feel like you created something, or this idea, or this kind of paradise, and you like, hey, come here, you can do this, da da da, and somebody be like, but we can do it, but we're gonna do it, with the stuff that you have already built. People be like, wait a minute, no. This is the stuff I built to run the shenanigans I ran. Like, no. You're gonna need to play with your monopoly money. You know what I mean? You have to create your own shit to do that. Now, this is my shit. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. It's getting real over here. It's getting real. You have to create your own stuff to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's there are things, if you want to do and play in your own game and play your own Monopoly money, you have to play your own game. You know what I mean? You have to create your own things to do that. You can't come and try to take over a game where things are already established, and then be like, oh, you did this. Okay, let me use what you did and do something else. I mean, and again, that's how life builds. That's how we grow. And that's how they do it in what's the movies that Shenzhen, Shanghai. It's one of the places over there where there's no, like, no copyright, nothing like that. Everybody just,
somewhere in China.
yeah, it's somewhere over there, but in the Asian continent where, it's more so about growing and building. Like, it's things happening so fast you can't even keep up with trying to keep a copyright. Like, things change so fast and so many people have the knowledge, and it's all about evolving it.
As long as you make it better, that's all.
That's it. It's all about evolving it as a civilization, and it's growing it. So, anywho, let me get back to just the undertones of some of the movies and this leave the world behind stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's just interesting. It's interesting because it's a lot of stuff that's being portrayed and reignited, and we see it again in real life because we here in Florida. We see governors doing things, we see laws being passed, we see books being changed, and then you also see it on screen, whether it be for projected or pre-projected or after the fact. Now, after things have played out, it's like it's a reoccurring theme. So we know we are being exposed to things, and we know we always have a choice, within ourselves to make decisions. So it really boils down to, understanding who you are, what's inside, and what it is that needs to be the next best play for yourself to protect you and your family and whatever may be coming next. Not to be caught off guard, not to be overwhelmed and a doomsday thinker and thinking the world finna come to an end, because it's not. Earth shall remain as it always has. You won't be the first people to fight in war and misconceive, and people will not. This is not going to be the first part of that.
Yeah.
So it's been done before. It's coming again, and misconceptions, and there it's happening. We're here. But the best thing to do, again, is to just observe, know what's out here, and make the best moves for yourself. Because the best move for you ain't going to be the best move for a person like, Tom Cruise, or somebody that, is somewhere else in another space, another time, doing their own thing.
Yeah, it's protect yourself, be equipped, what I mean? Arm yourself somehow, some way. If anything comes down, well, because I feel like even if there's not a civil war, they're probably gonna be attacking the U.S. So you don't know what it's gonna be like.
I mean, it could be anything. Whether it be somebody coming from outside attacking, that's in cahoots. I mean, we've had things on our soil that have been orchestrated by people from this soil. So 9/11. It's just there. You never really know what's really going on. That's been a theme from the beginning, that happened from the inside. And who knows whether it did or whether it didn't. I'm not saying it did or didn't. I'm just saying that a lot of people know a lot of people. It's a lot of families, a lot of people related in the White House, the Black House, the Green House, the Blue House. It's a lot of people that's related. It's a lot of family, a lot of kinfolk, a lot of cousins, a lot of uncles, and everybody knows everybody. Even you find there are ties, not even in just these, again, houses. It's houses everywhere that's tied. So inside work from Middle East to the Southeast to the West East to the Northeast to South Africa to West Africa to North Africa. It's, what are we saying? East Africa. Hey, it's, where are we? Like, where are we locally vibrating, moving? Of course, we're here in the United States, but my point being, where's your energy being put? Where are you moving the needle? Where are you being consciously aware that these dots are connected? Like 2016 was a big year, man. A lot of stuff popped off. Like even in 2016, that was the year with a lot of stuff with. Ooh, you got to be careful what you say, man. I'm trying to tiptoe, and it's like I'm really trying to tiptoe because I'm not trying to get deleted, y'all. We really not trying to get deleted because we've been on that threat before, and it's not fun. But you with the, let's say, the pizza and stuff with this whole, it's things,
Island thing.
the islands, the
Pizza.
kids, and traffic. It's just what's really going on. Some of your favorite celebrities out here co-signing on this stuff. The people that you look up to, and then if you again, let's hit on these aliens. Like, and then if you really delving into it, like there's so much you can really look back and look at different broadcasts or different imaging and imagery and see like some people are not as they perceive to be. Facial structure is different, body structure is different, teeth are different, ears are different, nose slightly different, but or where the way it falls rather, because Third Eye Spies, y'all. If y'all ain't seen that, check it out. Very good documentary. But they have different mechanisms to just everyday people to put on, facial concealment, masks, things of that nature. And I'm not talking about medical masks for C-19. I'm talking about,
Well,
like
human man.
concealing,
Yes.
concealment. So,
Bodies.
right, like there's just, y'all, I think we gotta go back to the drawing boards to find out how to speak about some of this information, because we speak about it very casually, but it's to not alarm and to not again get deleted and censored, because that's something that has been another real deal Holyfield.
Yeah, man. It's so much going on right now. I don't think we have enough time to even talk about everything. You know what I mean? Because we've been here for a little minute.
We have, it seems like, and I thought this was gonna be about 15 minutes. Thought this was gonna be short, y'all. But like, just even talking about, like, back to what I was gonna say about the aliens disclosure, like, it's so how okay. So we know that there have been some things. If you've been watching the back channel, y'all, like, all right. So there are a lot of things going on with your favorite set layups. So you say, and the kids and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And people are already among us. Beings are already among us. That has been confirmed way before disclosure. Like, if you needed the government to let you know that this has happened and it's happening, now you know. Welcome to the party. But it's been happening. It's been confirmed. Whether you believe the people that have been portrayed as crazy or delusional or whatever they are, whether you are on board with it or not, or whether you want to even pay attention to it or not, you can not pay attention to it and act like it doesn't exist. That doesn't mean it may not impact you at some point in time heavily. So again, it's to your best effort to just observe and watch. Again, you don't necessarily need to take action right now, but you should at least want to be in a position and have a perspective on some things if it were to occur.
Yes.
Being that there is information overload going on. So you can't be everywhere at all times in all places. I mean, you can if you tapping into that energy, if you vibrating high enough. But for a majority of people, where your focus is right now is where you need to be focused. You're here, you're there for a reason. You're there and here to fulfill a purpose.
Yes.
So doing those things, being those things, living that life. Why now? Why this time did alien disclosure happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Is it, do I believe in aliens? Absolutely. I don't believe that there could possibly be all millions of these trillions of galaxies and stars within planets, within solar systems, within more planets, within, you know, planetary systems, y'all. It's just not feasible that, you know, you would have galactic systems, planetary systems, and not have other life forms.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just,
plenty of
for me at least. Maybe it is feasible in some form and shape, but for me, that just don't seem realistic. So knowing that there are all these other, I mean, you can look up at night and just see stars. Knowing that there's possibility that there are other places and other things and other times and other species, and, you know, like, we don't know what those forms look like. We don't know. I mean, even let's talk about relevancy with the whole Miami
alien
thing that they're saying happened in Miami. The Miami aliens, is that, did it happen? Who knows? Like, I mean, like, is it possible? Of course. Like, you can't rule anything out, especially these days.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they were aliens or not, because I wasn't there, but I see some footage and stuff, so I can't really tell because I never seen an alien in person. Like to really like know exactly what I need to be looking at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna be out here fooling people like, whatever I seen in the movies. That's how the real aliens would look like.
Taking it for
Because
fact.
me personally, I know I was considered as an alien. So if I was considered as an
Welcome to the
alien
USA.
in the US when I came here, so therefore, what am I supposed to be looking at? You know what I mean? Looking for when you're saying alien. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, anything could be classified as an alien. You know what I mean? A chicken from El Salvador is an alien.
Uh, uh,
You understand? So if they come in here with it to the US, they put an alien tag on it. They call it alien number. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know because I was considered as an alien. I don't know if they're looking for me.
hey,
My brothers, them.
hey,
You know what
man.
I mean?
I mean, hey, maybe you got the
So
predator here, babe. Or predator got your hair, rather.
you know.
Ancient.
So,
Hey,
but I can't really tell because like I said, I don't know exactly what to look for. But if that happened, I won't be surprised if there was some alien in Miami.
and I mean the movie The Predator. That's,
Yeah,
let
I
me be
know.
specific. I know you know, but I mean, just because we're not live.
So yeah,
We live, but we ain't facially live. So
and Miami is not the only places that alien appears. Alien appears everywhere. You know what I mean? Whether here
well, I mean,
or
was in Mexico? They said they were seeing some stuff, and it was speculation of whether the people or beings that was uh populating or appearing rather, out of nowhere and floating and doing things, whether they were real or whether they were engineered. Who knows? Were they psyops? Were they people in you know were they kids in other places that had technology, access to certain technology, or were they military beings, seeing and testing out certain military operations? Who knows? Or were they real aliens, that's not that advanced? That these people was like, nah, we don't believe this. Like, who knows what they were? But here and there, like, it's we know there's something coming. Like,
yeah,
even just
there's
with what's going on in the earth right now, we know, like they say, Alaska, the world is getting warmer. In Alaska, there the ice shelves are, you know breaking off, and things are melting. And we know it's been a lot of seismic activity. We know there have been eruptions of volcanoes in places. They're saying, deep undersea. There have been, earthquakes in places that they say shouldn't be earthquakes. New York had an earthquake. We know California is known for earthquakes, but they had a few of them in like one day, just a few weeks ago, or a week or so ago. So there's a lot going on. They say there's, after these earthquakes or so, there was something that Japan had an earthquake also, major one, a week or so, 2 or so weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think.
there's a lot of
military trainings going on.
It's a lot of stuff going on. And,
Go
whether
around the
it's
world.
natural,
I don't know.
that's the thing. Whether it's natural, because we know we are in natural earth cycles. This may be Earth's natural earth cycle, and we may just be going through that. And people are, first off, people who know that that's what we're going through are projecting, and they know, you know, there are certain ways that they may want to keep control. And, in the midst of chaos, how to keep control may be certain ways that they're programming different things to do that with. So who knows?
Yeah.
But in the same sense, I mean, they talking about crystals popping up in different places, from this seismic activity.
Yeah.
Whether it's being induced again, is it harp music? Who knows? Who knows what's going on?
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know if it's being induced or maybe this is natural occurrence and people trying to control the narrative. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a little of both sides, and really we're gonna see in the end.
Yeah.
We're gonna see in the end. You play enough, you're gonna get played with.
Yeah.
So you can't play with Mother Nature, Father Time, Father, whatever it may be. Whatever you may label it as or call it as. It's an essence to everything. So, whatever you identify with it as, but we're here, and at this time and place, it's a lot of stuff. Even with these, again, the celebrity stuff is crazy because it seems like it's just a lot of distraction. Even some of the ones that's talking about some of the most realist stuff, it's like, who? Not that nobody cares, but like people dying, like people. It's about to be some real war and bloodshed. Like it's happening already, and we just seeing the domino effects of everything falling down. So how? I mean, I know it seems so far away, but what happens when it's in your backyard?
Yeah.
People not prepared for that because it's never happened in the last 100 years. But if and when again everything happens at some place in time, if that were to ever happen, would you be ready?
Gotta prepare. That's why I say everybody gotta make sure you prepare because you never know what's going on. Like you said, I mean, we're in a different phase, like we say, different year. Different things are popping up out of nowhere. These wars everywhere anyway. It's already started.
I mean, in the middle of like the wars, you got volcanoes, you got erupting, you have, earthquakes. Of course, earthquakes and volcanoes go hand in hand, but you have, again, tsunamis also. There's so many things going on.
Yeah, I guess
Earth is speaking.
Yeah,
or are people playing with Earth? And Earth gonna have to snap back.
Even Earth is mad right now. I mean, it's a lot going on.
It's a balancing situation, not upset. No madness to it. It's just a balance. And if you throw off a balance, they're
gonna be chaos.
Right. So, it's gonna be a reset, is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a natural, like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be swirling this way. I need to swirl back this way. Hold on. It's gonna be like, no. Just the natural mag. You can only hold infinity is a long time, y'all. Infinity, forever. That's a long time.
Yeah.
It cycles to everything. We just hit a new cycle
right now.
Right. So
cycle.
We just hit some cycles, and like it's
right now we're in the infinity cycle.
Well, we've been in the infinity cycle, but we in the cycle. We're in a new cycle.
Yes.
Whether it be the Kali Yuga or some other Yuga, or we're in a cycle of understanding and understanding. I don't know how far we are off because the times have been manipulated horribly. So years, days, months,
couple of
weeks.
Months off right now. Like what?
I mean, some calendars date, 4, 5, 6, 7 years back.
We like
some calendars date.
We're like 4 months off right now.
We can tell by the cycles.
By the new year.
You can tell by the feeling, the energy you got coming through. Something small just came through. We've started something. Something electric has happened.
Around January, probably the last month of the year.
Yeah, between December and January. Definitely. Things are happening.
Then I know it's the last one. Right?
So it's cycles. You can feel it. You can feel it in the air. Beanie said it best. But yo, it's
Because you know why I say that is because you know by this time that's when you know everything is like die down to regrow. You know a lot of things. You know what I mean. Even the trees, you can see the leaves are falling and everything. You know what I mean. Around next couple of months, the next 2 3 months, they're gonna start blooming again. That will be New Year, the new cycle. You know what I mean?
there we go. So that's nature's cycle, natural cycle. So how these things that have been plaguing people, whether it be natural, again, forcibly, man induced, or nature just correcting and balancing itself. How do you proceed? Is going to be your best bet. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of it's a lot of foretelling, man. The cyber attacks, sonic attacks, the mental, psychological attacks, like how you proceed. And aware. Are you aware that that's something that's going on? Because if you're not aware that it's even going on, there's no defense. Your defense is probably down if you're not, again, truly spiritually tapped in. So, I mean, this is just, I mean, even a lot of things that people have began to come aware or become awake to is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And it seems like maybe this was the plan all along. Like, because everything's in hyperspeed right now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like things are hitting back to back to back to back to back to back. Like, it's again if information overload, almost it's information overload. So processing was necessary, y'all. Not being too overwhelmed by what is, what ain't, just taking it, riding with it, and using it when it's useful. That's pretty much where we at with it right now, because it's so much going on. And I think we're gonna go ahead and let's try to cut it down right there, because I mean, even we hit on a few things there, but I mean, even with the agendas, like we talked about the child and children trafficking, like how in the world, like, it's just a lot going on with celebrities, y'all. It's a lot that people are the people that people in ages beyond ages have looked up to. And not a new system, y'all. Not a new system. This is something circus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is stuff people have been put up to,
Same people,
been
same
doing.
group of people.
So I
Same
can't say
type
put
of
up to. I mean, people doing this out of their own will. We all have free will to exercise and say no. We're not putting on the dress.
same circle.
Everybody can say no, but it's a lot of benefit people see on the other side.
Yes.
They say the road to hell is paved with good intention. So you may
Mhm.
think, hey, I'm doing this for a good intention, but you may be actually doing it for a good intention.
Yeah.
And let's say you are. Let's just speak on that. Let's speak positively and keep it on that note. So y'all, it's been real. It's a lot of agendas playing out. It's, everybody, for whatever it is, whoever it is you may be in a relationship with, whoever you love, hold them close, hold them tight. It's a lot of agendas playing out. And I mean, it's almost like we've been prepared for this, y'all. Like, there's nothing that's gonna surprise us. This exposure thing, that's not gonna surprise us. We've seen this in movies beyond times. Like, we saw the movie. I can't the name of that movie with the maybe I shouldn't. Maybe that's the reason. Certain things escape me because I'm not supposed to say them so that we don't get in trouble. But and we can't be in trouble, y'all. There's no such thing as trouble for us, because speaking the truth is always light. It's always a light movement.
Mhm.
There's no weight to that. Light as a feather when you're speaking the truth. So but it can be a maneuver at times, is what I will say.
Yes.
And so I'm hoping we touched everything that we said we were going to touch on. I'm not registering anything else right now, but y'all be safe, be prepared, you know, watch what's going on,
Yes.
observe,
And we prepare.
meditate, really meditate, and not just, well, whatever meditate means to you. Whatever meditate means to you, do that. Okay, now do that with your family, teach your people that's around you, commune,
Yes.
connect, because you might find that people are thinking the same things that you are thinking. They questioning the same things you're questioning. They wonder about the same things you're wondering about. And I mean, it may be another 4 or 5 years before we even see some of these themes play out. Maybe years. But we do know that there are themes in life. Themes that have presented themselves, patterns per se, that need to be noted. So observe, stay alive, y'all. Stay real and stay love. More than anything, stay love.
Yes.
Till next time.
All right. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and subscribe, and share with everybody you know.
All right.
Deuces, y'all.